Welcome in, everyone. Happy Friday. Woo! Hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday afternoon. Um, it's going to be a chill stream today. We just got homework to do, so I'm going to be reading through some research papers, maybe some articles, and just maybe watching a video here and there. But yeah, hope everyone's doing well. I sure am. It's a nice, beautiful day here in Rancho Cucamonga, California. It's like a nice overcast. No, not too overcast. Like moderately cloudy. Sunny, warm, but not too hot. Day. So it's good weather. Good California weather. Whoops, whoops, whoops. All right, let's pause the music. So yeah, let's get into it by watching some more of the California governor stuff, some of the candidates have come out and like made some statements, not statements, but just given their feedback on on the performance and stuff. So let's take a look.
Tuesday night, April 28th, CBS LA is teaming up with CBS stations from across California to host the CBS California Governor's Debate.
The debate will be held at the historic Bridges Auditorium on the Pomona College campus. And joining us now,
Oh,
one
damn,
of the debate
Pomona.
moderators,
We got to
Pomona
try to go
College
to
Assistant
that.
Professor of Politics, Sarah Sawadi. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
I feel the anticipation coming. We're at Friday, Tuesday's around the corner. So 6 candidates just participated in a debate this week. We were watching. Nobody seemed to really move the needle with their performance. What do you think voters actually want to hear, and how are you going to push the candidates?
Yeah, that's so right. I mean, this has been just an incredible debate season or season for this race. We have a crowded field of candidates. And it's such a consequential moment. It's rare. It's only once every, typically 8 years, that the seat is completely open. And this race is wide open. What we've seen is there remains a large swath of California voters who are undecided. So debates like the one we're about to host are a really important opportunity for voters to tune in and really learn more about these candidates, the kinds of policy priorities that they have, as well as the kind of personality that they have. That's, I think, one of the real benefits of having these kind of live debates is you get to see these individuals in action.
Yeah, I mean, 40% undecided is
Yeah.
a huge number. Sarah, Californians seem frustrated with several issues in our state, including, of course, the homeless crisis. But the Democratic candidates all gave Governor Newsom an A or B grade on the job he's done. The 2 Republican candidates handed out Fs. Are the Democratic candidates staying loyal, maybe to a fault?
It's possible. Homelessness, you're absolutely right, has been one of the most important issues in California, really since COVID. And it's a tricky balancing act that the Democratic candidates have, because while much of the electorate is split on their support for Gavin Newsom, he does remain incredibly popular amongst his loyalist supporters. And any one of those Democratic candidates knows that they need to be able to tap into that support. So it's a balancing act of being able to critique Governor Newsom, while at the same time not going too far to alienate his base of support that they are going to be trying to draw upon. That being said, when you're all saying about the same things about Gavin Newsom or on policy issues, it makes it really hard to distinguish yourself in these kinds of moments where voters are looking to distinguish between the candidates.
And, before this debate happened, a pair of candidates did drop out. The polls did reshuffle after that happened. But as we've been talking about, there's still 20 to 25% of voters say they are undecided. We are now 10 days away from mail-in voting getting underway, which I can't believe. Is it unusual to see such a large portion of voters still undecided at this point?
Yeah, it's unusual, I think, in California politics to not have a front runner in this race for governor. I think in many ways this is reflective of the Democratic Party nationally, though, as well. I just saw research that came out yesterday that coming out of Colorado, that local Democrats still don't really have a clear understanding of what went wrong in the 2024 election. And we see across the nation,
of course, they still be
in various
not
races
realizing their issues, right? Denial. Democrats, man.
City mayor's race to the New Jersey governor's race. Democrats are winning in this Trump environment, but very different kinds of Democrats. Some very progressive, some more moderate, middle of the road. So in many ways, I think there's a question of what it is that voters actually want in their candidates. And that's ultimately what this primary election will show us, is what the direction will be for California.
And Sarah, we mentioned that you will be one of the moderators. We're curious, every time I watch a debate, debate. I really admire what the moderators are able to do to maybe keep them on time, get the questions moving. What is your prep process like ahead of this
Oh
debate?
my God, that's cute.
Well, we're certainly doing a whole lot of research on the comments that all of these candidates have made on some of the topics that are most important to Californians. So we really want to be able to hold candidates to their word, but also push them to get specific. It's easy in these debates at times for candidates to just refer to their talking points and not say a whole lot on the meat and substance of the policy. But we're really looking to get into the depths, into the weeds when possible, so that voters can really be informed about the kind of leadership that a governor will bring to the state of California.
Well, we can't wait to watch. Professor, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah, that was
Thanks
a
so
good
much for having
interview.
me.
All right.
And of course, our CBS California
That's crazy. That means the debate is going to happen on Tuesday. This is happening way too fast. Like, we needed a debate like a month ago and then maybe like in another month, but why are we doing so many weeks? Like, what are the schedule? Are we going to weed out some of the contestants? I don't know. We'll see.
I am completely pro-government.
Yeah.
What I am not is socialism. If
Do you
we
think-
can't get
can
to
I
a
ask-
point where
Okay,
we
let's watch this Chad
completely
Bianco
understand
interview.
now and believe, because
It-
they're not even keeping it a
It just
secret
came
anymore.
out. It's
They
from
call
our
themselves
favorite
the Socialist
KQED.
Democrats of California.
I mean, like,
and the
it's only got
Socialist
9
Democrats of
likes so
America.
far
If
and
you
less than
can't
200
see
views. We
that-
got to
that-
watch
that-
this.
That is directly in defiance and against our Constitution and the United States of America. You might be part of the problem of why we're here.
Hey everyone, from KQED in San Francisco, this is Political Breakdown. I'm Marisa Lagos. Today on The Breakdown, the final interview in our ongoing series with the many candidates vying to be California's next governor. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco is one of the top polling
What a
candidates,
nerd.
Republican who has spent his career in law enforcement and has been controversial at times as sheriff. Bianco says he wants to cut taxes and spending. Sheriff Bianco, welcome to Political Breakdown.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I am glad to have you. Well, we are opening these episodes with the same question for everybody, which is, who are you politically and what's your vision for this great state?
So
Okay, well, it's a little
who am
sped
I
up
politically?
right now.
I am no one politically. I am Chad Bianco. I'm a husband, a dad, a grandpa, and the sheriff of Riverside County. Politics are destroying the state, and they have for a long
Politics are
time.
destroying the
Politics used
state.
to be
You heard
okay.
it here.
50, 60, 70 years ago, politics was okay. And the longer we go, the worse it's getting. We're turning into a third world country. You have to hate the people that don't agree with you or don't vote for you or vote for the person that you want. You have to hate them now. And it's absolutely disgusting.
political
it is destroying not only our state,
polarization.
it's destroying our country. And we're going to turn into a third world country until we get rid of the D's and the R's and we start voting for people of character, integrity,
Yeah.
honesty, leadership ability. Those are the things that we're supposed to be caring
Yeah.
about when
This
we
is
put people in
very
office, not if they're a
populist,
Democrat or a Republican.
anti-establishment rhetoric.
And
That's
so
that's
who
the
am I
spiritual
who am I politically?
spirit
I'm
of
absolutely
MAGA,
no one. I
right?
despise politics. Public service is supposed to be doing things for other people. And my career, 33 years of doing something every single day to make other people's lives better. God gave me the ability or the joy in life of helping other people. And it's been since I was a little kid. And it's
Well, I
no
wanna talk about that.
it-
Yeah.
it's no different now. And I am only doing this to make Californians' lives better. It is silly to say, for anyone to say that I'm doing this for the Republican Party and I'm going to turn this state red. Blue and red have destroyed this state. How about I make it Californian? I mean, I don't. We can come up with a different color, or why even
Gold.
call it a
Gold
color?
might be the
I
right
mean,
color.
gold is fine. I mean, it's our state color,
Right.
but we should be about Californians, not about Democrats. If I'm only doing this for Democrats, or if I'm only trying to appease to them, or if I'm only trying to appease to Republicans, then half of the state is gone.
Yeah.
That means I don't
Yeah.
care about the other half, and that's where we are right now. I'll say it front and center. Gavin Newsom cares nothing about me. He cares absolutely nothing about anyone in the Republican Party. Gavin Newsom cares about himself and his Democrat agenda. End of story.
All right, well, let's come back to politics. I want to talk a little bit about you.
I
who you were as a
I
little
think
kid.
Gavin Newsom doesn't even care about democratic politics. He only cares about himself. So Chad Bianco is right in that. Damn, Chad, am I gonna come out of watching this interview a Chad supporter?
kid.
Absolutely.
I believe you were born and raised in Utah.
I was.
Military
Oh,
family,
he's from
perhaps?
Utah?
My dad was in the Air Force when I was
Oh, could he be Mormon? Possible Mormon if he's from Utah? Okay, let's hear.
born.
Okay.
So I was born at Hill Air Force Base. He was in Vietnam.
Wow.
When he came home, he got out, and
Okay.
then we lived in the town that he grew up in.
And you have-
My mom too.
You have two younger brothers, I think.
Two younger brothers.
Talk about your childhood. Like, what was the vibe at your
Yes.
house? What was it like?
I had an amazing childhood. I had an amazing dad. My mom and dad both worked, so we were in a very small town. My grandparents were also amazing, both sides of the family, and both sides were different experiences. I had a business side of the family, and I had a hardworking. I mean, they're all hardworking, but a more of a
Blue collar, maybe?
blue collar ranching
Interesting.
outdoor side of the family, and I grew up both ways.
Yeah.
I obviously leaned one way, but the upbringing was
Blue
great.
collar,
I
he
was
says?
raised
Interesting.
by a town of men
What?
that believed in integrity, that believed
Okay.
in helping other people, that believed
Okay.
that they were all my dads and they were watching out for me while I was in it was a small town, 1,000 people, hardworking people,
Yeah.
and my mom and dad knew everything I did that day before I got home. And
Yeah.
everyone watched out for everyone.
Takes a
and
village in that, yeah.
It was. And I was disciplined by other men in the town, knowing
that's good.
that they'd do it instead of my dad
Right.
and probably save me from my dad.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. I feel like that's what some of the problem that we're facing today with the young men, is not even is their neighbors or like their dad's friends or other older more mature men in their lives like guiding them or disciplining them, as Chad is saying. um it's I feel like not necessarily bring that back, but like we need something like that again where young men can communicate open and freely with older men and vice versa, honestly. That's at least I can say as a woman, it's pretty easy for um, myself as a younger woman, even though I'm not that young anymore, as a younger woman to communicate with older women. And they actively seek that out. I'll reach out to older women for advice with, with everything, but, especially with stuff that it's like only a woman could know that experience. I'll do that and vice versa, but I don't know. I'm not a boy. I didn't grow up a boy and I'm not a man. I'll never be a man. And so it's just like I don't know how it is for that whole other gender of our population. Like I don't know. They need to figure it out themselves. Women, we're still figuring it out. Honestly, we communicate with each other, but sometimes it's not in the best of ways or with the best of intentions. So but yeah, can't disagree with Chad. He sounds very open and honest. I don't know about the stealing the ballots investigation thing, but pretty good.
I was raised with integrity. I was raised with a hard work ethic, and you don't complain. You just work harder, and you do things for yourself and for other people. You make your own life better.
Yeah. What brought you to California?
California brought me to California. I was 11 years old. I came to Santa Monica to play in the Little League World Series.
Oh my
And
God.
we were put up with a family here. Me and my best friend, we were 11. A family took us in for the 10 days, and they had a 13-year-old boy and a 16-year-old daughter, and they took us everywhere. She had a driver's license. She took us everywhere. We were at the pier. We were at the beach. Two 11-year-old kids from a small town. We had never heard of an arcade. So we go into this
Wow.
building that is nothing but it's an arcade, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then we went to their birthday parties and for their friends in the park. It was amazing. My entire life was about baseball, but when I
Oh
got
my
home from that
God.
trip, I could not remember one single thing about the games. I
Oh,
couldn't tell
wow.
my mom and dad anything about the games other than I know we lost, but I told them I'm moving to California.
Yeah. I know faith is a big
He's
part of your
a
life. and your family's
California. I hate to say it, not hate to say it, but I'm branding it California culture vulture.
If you, I believe, are active in Sandals Church, an evangelical church.
Ah, he's
What drew you to the
evangelical.
evangelical world, and like, how does your faith shape the way you approach your public service?
My faith affects everything I do. It affects my family life. It affects my work life. It's something that is a major part of me. I grew up in a very small town with different religious backgrounds on both sides of the family, and when I came to California, I found more of I can't even say it.
Evangelical, yeah, we
Thank you.
gotcha.
Christian
What?
church. It was Harvest Church in
Okay, I
Riverside.
mean,
Pastor Greg Laurie.
oh, he said
That is his
Harvest
calling is
Church?
bringing people.
Hold on, gotta run that back turbo.
And I can't even say it. And
Evangelical, yeah, we
thank you.
gotcha.
Christian church. It was Harvest Church in Riverside. Pastor
Harvest
Greg Laurie.
Church. Oh my God, that's the church that did the conservative movement. The modern Christian conservative movement was out of Harvest Church. No wonder Chad Bianco is evangelical. They have the hookup for real, I'm sure. They, what's his name? Jerry Falwell, I think, would do big things. Well, I'm talking out of my, but I know Harvest Church has played a big role in conservative Republican politics. Riverside. I mean, they recently hosted Erica Kirk, I think. So, um, do they have like a Wikipedia? Yes. Okay. Founded in 1973 by Greg Laurie, an American evangelical pastor, evangelicist, Christian author, senior pastor of of Harvest Church. Interesting. Yeah, they have a bunch of campuses and stuff. Um, it's weird how they say campus. They have a SWAT team, students with a testimony. Students with a testimony. That's what SWAT stands for. Cringe. Street witnessing. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's one of those Christian religions. Um, crazy.
That is his calling is bringing people to Jesus Christ. And the first time I went to his church, it was the message that I needed to hear. It answered a lot of questions from that different religions were causing in my head, and it answered that, and it's been different for me ever since. I think that in the world that I live in, the world I live in is evil. I don't we don't
Wow.
have interactions with good people. The good
Okay.
people I have interactions with are victims.
Hmm.
We're trying to help them. We're trying to rescue them from their lives. It's the evilness that I deal with on a daily basis that good people, the rest
Well,
of the
I mean,
public, sometimes don't want to believe or admit that are there. And the bad things that happen, if you are not a person of faith, if you do not believe that there is a good and an evil and a God and a devil, you are going to have a very hard time in law enforcement,
that's
because
crazy.
you have to be able to draw that line, and you have to be able to answer some of the questions that are posed. Why did that child get murdered? Why did that child die?
So, do you think it matters if it's a Christian faith or just any faith?
I think it's a faith in something higher than yourself.
Hmm.
Okay,
I don't
so at
want to
least
say
he's
that
not
you
saying.
just have to be Christian. I
Right.
mean, as a
Yeah, there
Christian,
you go.
That's what you believe, yeah,
yeah,
obviously.
I mean, if you want to go somewhere better, you have to be a Christian. The only way there is through Jesus Christ. So, uh,
That's crazy. Bashan in a box said, "What an evil man." Yeah, that's crazy that he's in law enforcement and that's how he perceives the world. I mean, I'm sure he's had to see pretty terrible things. Like on this channel, we talk about the murder of Celeste Rivas, right? How do you explain that? It is evil, but like is whatever. I'm not going to get into religion talk, but it's not like the devil possessed David to do that horrible thing. I don't know. There is Satanism accusations too, so who the heck knows? But yeah, that's crazy to see it in such a black and white way.
That's my religion, but at the same time, I have very good friends that are Muslim, that are Jewish, that have different beliefs than me, and I'm not going to criticize them for that. They still have the same values.
All right. So you were a sheriff's deputy for years in Riverside County, and then you ran for sheriff. What prompted you to run? I believe you challenged an incumbent, Stan Sniff. Quite a name there.
Yes.
Stan Smith.
Really, the same reason why I'm running now. It's almost like just a repeat of what I did and how I felt back then compared to what I'm doing now and why I'm running for governor. I absolutely knew how broken we were as an agency, that we were not doing everything we were supposed to be doing for our public. The morale in my department was absolutely horrific. We were having between 30 and 40 deputies leave every 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was disastrous. We were lying to the public about where we were spending money, about how we were spending money, about how we were providing a service. There was nothing honest. There was no integrity coming from the leadership of our agency, and I knew we should be doing better. And it got to a point where I can sit and complain about it, I can go along with it, or I can fix it. And the only way you could fix it is by having that top spot. You couldn't do it I was in a upper level management position, but I can only affect the people right below me. I can't make department-wide changes. I can't help the county unless you're in that top position, which is exactly why I'm doing this, because I can complain, I can fight in Sacramento as much as I want. I can't save the state unless I have that spot.
There's been some controversy.
He's
You
like, I
oversee
need the
5
ultimate
jails, and
power.
a 2024 investigation by the New York Times and local paper called the jail system the second deadliest in the nation. Why do you think they cited 2022 as the year they really focused on 19 people died? Why do you think that is? And have you made any changes to prevent things like suicides and overdoses and murders?
The answer is yes and no, but it's all fake. It's
How
all
so?
complete
here we go.
BS. It is a complete distortion of fact and reality, made by not the New York Times.
Well, then tell us what's the reality.
It's by a reporter that in 2022 set in a group of Democrats to determine and decide how they were going to get me out of office, and it's by fake news articles.
I mean, 19 people did die, correct?
19 people out of 66,000.
Okay.
So let me put it to you this way.
That's
the average
okay.
in California, the death rate in California is 644 per 100,000. The death rate in my jails per 100,000 is 32.
Okay. Did you
So-
make any changes? Did you feel the need to make
Well,
any
they
changes?
No.
shouldn't be
And
dying
the
at all.
It's yes and no.
They're in
So
custody.
the reason why
I mean, I
all
assume you don't
across
want
the
anybody to
country,
be dying in your jails.
you don't want
Thank
anyone
you.
dying, but the reality is they do. People die every
course.
single day. No one has
What?
died because they were in jail. They died while they were in jail. I do
I
not,
don't
and
know
I
about
would
that.
never criticize a mother or father because their son overdosed in their house. I would never criticize a wife if her husband committed suicide. So why am I, as the sheriff, getting criticized when people commit suicide or overdose in my jail? It was not my
Because-
fault. They chose that.
What?
But this is the reality that we're in.
So he perceives himself as like the father of the household, and he should not be blamed for his family's behavior. But something drove them to that, right? What if you're in charge of their care? I want to know what drove them to that situation. That's weird. That's very not a good way to explain it away, Chad Bianco.
And that we blame everyone else instead of the person that's responsible. In 2022, when all of this happened, my average jail deaths are 9 per year. That is extremely, extremely low, one of the lowest ever. In 2022, it went to 18. 13 of them were from suicide and drug overdose, fentanyl overdose and suicide, 7 fentanyl overdose and 6 suicides. At the same time in the entire country, suicides and fentanyl overdose were astronomical.
Oh my God.
Astronomical.
How
But
was
somehow,
fentanyl getting in
I'm
there?
supposed to be responsible for it, while at the same time, these same reporters are completely ignoring the unbelievable death rates, murder rates, suicide rates, and overdose rates in our state prison controlled by Newsom and a Democrat agenda. They're ignoring that and just concentrating on me. And I'll tell you why it's fake, why it is complete BS, because no one has asked me how many people died last year or the year before
Tell us.
or the year before. Last year there was 8. The year before that there were 6.
So there has been a huge decrease. That's significant.
It's back to normal. It was a complete anomaly in 2022 all across the country.
Related to
But the reporter that now works for the Times was one of our local reporters in that group of Democrats of how are we going to get rid of Chad Bianco, and the ACLU was all part of it. The 2 newspapers part of it, and
ACLU?
said we come up with all of these lawsuits, we come up with all of these reports, and then when he runs for election again, we refer back to these reports in the paper, and then psychologically everybody believes them.
Interesting.
And to some people, it absolutely works because facts don't matter.
All right. Well, I want to give you the opportunity to respond to a few things. I know you get heated about these issues, but
Wow.
It's
another
passionate,
thing,
not heated.
It is passionate, and I appreciate that.
My entire life is about truth. Law enforcement is
God.
about truth and lies,
Chill out,
integrity and
brother.
not. And when I'm confronted with lies, I'm not going to let the lies keep going. I'm going to stick up for the truth always.
All right. Well, let me ask you about something that a lot of your critics have sort of keep bringing up, which is that for 1 year you were part of the Oath Keepers group. I want you to tell me who they are and why you joined them.
Okay. I will ask everyone out there, have you ever read the mission statement for the Oath Keepers?
I did, because I heard you talk about this. Yeah.
What did you find?
It's about upholding the Constitution, they say.
It's almost word for word as the ACLU.
I don't think you like the ACLU.
The ACLU is horrific because the ACLU is absolutely nothing what their mission
Okay, well,
statement
tell us.
said.
Let's stick on the Oath
So
Keepers.
you can't criticize me if you
I'm not.
love
I'm
the
just
no, I'm
asking
not
why
you. I mean,
you-
Oh,
critics.
my God.
You can't say how horrible I am when you love the ACLU, but you don't like someone that upholds the Constitution.
So what drew
the
you
Oath
to them?
Keepers
Yeah.
was a group of law enforcement officials and military officials that swore an oath to defend our Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. How is that a bad thing now? How is that a bad thing? And so what has happened is Democrats, liberal progressive Democrats, now we're learning that the Southern Poverty Law Center is completely corrupt and egregious in the things that they say and the people that they label as bad. They're the ones that are bad. But by 6 years later, 7 years later, 3 people get arrested at January 6th that
Oh,
had
my
membership in that.
God.
And now all of a sudden the entire organization is bad.
But you did leave after
I
a year,
can't,
right?
Yes, in 2014. It was like, okay, I'll pay for the membership. I got my little copy of the Constitution. It offered me nothing. There was no benefits of being there. It was like, okay, it got nothing.
You said before that you learned of the group and joined through the Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officers Association. What is that? What's a constitutional sheriff?
It's the same thing. And that's turning into something that it really isn't. I swear an oath to defend my Constitution, federal and state. I did not swear an oath to a governor. I didn't swear an oath to a mayor, a board of supervisors, or any other person. My oath is to the people of our state and our country, and it's abiding by the document that has made us the greatest country in the history of the world. And if you're going to swear an oath to a person, we are going to fail America. We are going to fail California. So a constitutional sheriff is one that actually believes in the Constitution, that we should be defending the people that put us in position, predominantly in the country. We are all elected. Sheriffs are all elected. Some are appointed, but mostly they're in state constitutions as elected officials. My role is to defend people and their constitutional rights. And that it's very, very basic. It's the current environment that we're in that everything has to be made political. And how something is now bad when you are defending the Constitution, that's bad.
I mean, it's interesting because critics see that and the Oath Keepers as almost anti-government. And I'm curious, like,
I am completely pro-government.
Yeah.
What I am not is socialism. If we can't get to a point where we completely understand now and believe, because they're not even keeping it a secret anymore. They call themselves the Socialist Democrats of California and the Socialist Democrats of America. If you can't see that is directly in defiance and against our Constitution and the United States of
Socialism
America,
is against the Constitution.
you might be part of the problem of
I
why
didn't
we're
know
here.
that.
Because I am a huge fan of government. Our government made us the greatest country in the history of the world, but we are not socialist. We are not Marxist.
Do you think, though, that as sheriff, as governor, you have to enforce laws that you do not agree with?
Sometimes yes.
Okay.
Sometimes yes. And then sometimes they're not. I mean, I was the first law enforcement person in the entire country to say, I'm not doing these stupid COVID regulations and rules
here
and
we
arrests.
go.
You, Gavin Newsom, are not going to release 100,000 inmates into our streets that victimize us, personally victimize us, and then tell me to arrest a single mom because she wants to go to work to put food on the table for her kid.
So do you think then that as a sheriff running for governor, you're basically asking the public to trust you to decide which laws are lawful?
That has nothing to do with anything like that.
That's what you're saying.
Do you want someone with
integrity? You
integrity?
didn't feel like the COVID mandates were.
They weren't. We absolutely know they weren't. It wasn't even a law. Our legislature wouldn't make it a law because they know it was unconstitutional. This was complete government overreach. 100%. And we all know that now. I mean, we all know that now. We can't act like it didn't happen. We all know that now. And I even said at the time, if you want it to be a law and you want me to enforce those laws, then legislature, go ahead and make it a law. You can do it today.
Yeah.
They didn't because they knew it was against the Constitution and none of them would ever get elected again.
All right, I want to move on because we have other stuff to talk about. The other thing that's been catching a lot of attention is your
Damn, she
office's
gave up on pushing
investigation
back
into
on him.
ballots. You guys seized about 650 ballots in February. These were
But
from
I
last
get it.
November's election. Why'd you seize them?
Because we're investigating fraud. Why do I do homicide investigations? Because we're investigating murders. Why do I do rape investigations? Because we investigate rapes. We investigate every crime, and this was an allegation of a crime, and it's very simple. There are records from our own registrar of voters that say there were 611,000 ballots, but yet the votes total 656,000. Why? So then we ask those questions, and there is not an answer. Our registrar could not give an answer.
He says there's like 103 votes.
Oh, he said that
Oh.
3 weeks
Discrepancy?
later. He said
Okay.
that he came up with
Michonne in a box said he used the single mom will get arrested because she's out working during COVID, even though most jobs in California were considered essential. Exactly. 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 He's probably referring to something very it sounds like a very hyper specific analogy, like maybe the single mom didn't want to wear a mask and she was trying to go to work and didn't want to wear a mask at work, and all her coworkers were like, "No, you can't do this. The rules say." And so, oh my god, but yeah, it's just he's just I don't want to say he's making stuff up, but like he's not he's not giving all the full picture, right? And that's very concerning, him as a person, a man of the law. Part of telling the truth, or at least finding the truth, is explaining the full picture, and okay, sure, there was no official law for the masks during COVID, right? But like what was the reasoning behind the masking? What was the reasoning behind the social distancing? You're not getting the full picture. You're just like, the government's telling me to do this. They can't tell me to do that. Full stop. And it's like, well, you know, the government is telling me I have to pay my taxes, and according to how the government is spending money right now, we're spending a lot of it in fighting wars across the seas. I don't agree with that, but I still have to pay my taxes, right? I still have to follow these rules that I don't agree with. And he's acting like he's saying that he's literally saying what I'm saying, but then moving the goalpost when it's rules that he doesn't agree with. That's crazy. Chad Bianco, man. We'll see how far he gets.
with a nice little non-verbal a verbal response that really didn't give an answer, but he still gave a completely different answer than the number of votes. The bottom line is,
So is that what prompted you to reopen the case? Because I know
I
you
didn't
had an
reopen a
investigator look
case.
into it and say
no, see, this is where I
You're
get
refuting that-
frustrated and passionate.
Okay.
Oh my
There
god.
is nothing but lies coming from the attorney general, and it gets repeated by the media, it gets repeated by social media, and headlines rule the day. You don't read the article, you read the headlines. And then so everybody believes something that's not true. This was a very simple, basic investigation. How do you have 611,000 ballots and 656,000 votes? Nobody knew. So it's okay. We went to a judge and said, the only way we're going to know if there's fraud, how many ballots are there? We need to count the ballots, not count the votes, not overturn an election. How many ballots? And my very first press conference, I said, I want the number to be exact. I want to say there are 656,000 ballots, the same number of yes and no votes. Now, all you people that think they're a fraud, it's not fraud.
Yeah.
Stop. We're doing everything we can
Okay,
to.
I'm gonna pause him real quick right there. Let's apply the same logic that he used about being criticized about prisoner deaths, right? He said, no, 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 it wasn't 16 prisoners that died in my prison. It was 3 that committed suicide and 6 that overdosed on fentanyl. Like, why is he okay with that discrepancy in numbers? And excusing away that discrepancy by saying, "Oh, that's not my issue." But then he's getting into a whole other department, a whole other section of the government that is not in his jurisdiction, essentially, right? He doesn't have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to go question the registrar of voters and ask them why their ballot numbers don't match. That's like going into the county the Treasury Department and saying, "Wow, the budget is not balanced. Why doesn't it match? I'm the sheriff. I need to figure this out." Homie, you need to like solve violent crimes, like other crimes, theft, like things like that. Like, okay, let's continue listening to his description of the issue with the ballots here. I'm very curious to hear about this.
To make good elections, safe elections, and real elections. But if it's not, if it's really 611,000 like the registrar says it is, then we have a massive problem, don't we? And so the judge agreed. We got the ballots to count them, and the attorney general stopped it with court cases. And it has nothing to do with whether or not it's legal or not. He absolutely knows it's legal for me to do this. I'm tasked with investigating crime. End of story. He is asserting that he has authority over me and he can say that I cannot investigate crime. And he's absolutely wrong. So that's why we're in the court system.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the case.
Judge Jay Keel signed off on this warrant. He supported, you before he became a judge. I know he runs in similar
He was
faith
an amazing
circles.
prosecutor.
How did the warrant end up before him specifically?
Random.
Really?
We have judges of the day. Every single day there are judges of the day. And they rotate all of the time. Every single
That's
day,
weird.
They rotate. And when you have one
Maybe he
time,
could have waited.
when you go back for another one, it might be a completely different judge on the same case because our county rotates every single day. It is luck of the draw, random. There is no picking of judges.
Yeah. Do you think that voters should have faith in our elections?
They should. And how do they have faith in the elections when the attorney general is trying to stop the investigation to prove it?
You are running for governor. You talk about cutting taxes and spending, and paying for it by cutting fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm curious if there's like one or two specific areas that you would point to as where you would what's the fraud you're talking about?
We absolutely know that there are billions of dollars in fraud per
give
year
me
in
some specifics.
homelessness.
Okay.
Why is no money helping the homeless? We have $25 billion that they can't account for. They have no idea where it went. But if you actually go to Skid Row. Skid Row is ground zero of the homeless failure because not only are they getting state money, they're getting $2 billion per year minimum from Los Angeles. All you have to do is go there and see that none of that money makes it to the people that are on the streets. There are tons of millionaires, and they're not billionaires, but there are tons of mega millionaires out there now. There are tons of people with big expensive yachts and big expensive houses, but none of that money got down to the people that actually need it to help them. It is complete fraud.
Okay,
it is
investigate
complete
that.
embezzlement and fraud
Do that,
in nonprofits
Chad. I'm
and NGOs
actually
that are
curious
stealing
to
all the money for
hear
administrative fees because
that
the
be
legislator
solved.
made it legal for them to do that, and none of that money is getting. It's an industrial complex created by our state government to launder tax money, and then those people that are getting the money, they're putting that money back in the campaign coffers of the people that keep that money funding. That has to stop, and it's going to stop on day one. And it's not just that. We're learning now of the medical fraud, of the school daycare fraud. This state is ripe with fraud because the state doesn't care where that money goes because it's not theirs. Legislators don't care. It's not their money. Just take more money from the rest of the state. Give it over to here. Their answer is more money. We cannot. Newsom's response to homelessness is he's so great because he gave more money than any other person in history to the homeless. Well, the amount of money means absolutely nothing. I'm going to measure homeless by less tents on our sidewalks. That's how you judge whether or not you're doing something right, not by how much money you give to your friends.
Yeah. Your Republican opponent in the race, Steve Hilton, has attacked you in the past saying you have to follow SB 54. That's the state sanctuary law. I know you oppose it, but as sheriff, you're bound by law.
Imagine that.
Yeah, just tell us, how have you handled that?
How have I handled Steve Hilton?
No,
I mean, I really don't care about Steve Hilton
I don't want to
because
talk
it's
about
all
Hilton.
lies.
SB
54 has to go.
Yeah.
It's making you less safe. It's making everyone in this state less safe.
Do you think, though, that there is any truth to this idea that if local law enforcement are cooperating, hand in hand with immigration enforcement, that it's harder for you to get them to come forward for crimes? You haven't had that.
Do you know that immigration worked perfectly well up to 2017? Do you know that people were being deported every single day up until 2017? Do you know that ICE was never in our neighborhoods, never in our businesses, never doing any of that up until 2017?
No,
what
they
happened in 2017?
totally were.
Sanctuary state. And law enforcement told them, told the governor, told the legislature that this is going to be the result. And here's the thing. In my world, When it doesn't make sense, that means it was on purpose and there's something else. They purposely knew that ICE would be in our streets, and now they're saying it's victimizing our residents and everything else. Well, they caused it.
Yeah.
Because what should be happening is ICE should be going into our jails and taking all of those people and deporting them. Then they wouldn't have to go into our cities and into our communities and into our businesses to find the people that we release from jail. This is so common sense it
So
isn't even funny.
before SB 54 in Riverside, you were doing that.
The entire state was doing it. The
Well,
entire state
some
was
counties
no,
had
they were
laws,
not.
but-
No, they were not. The entire state was doing it. Every single sheriff was doing what they should be doing, and it's releasing criminals in our jail who are in this country illegally over to ICE to
What?
deport them.
Do you think, though, that you would want your deputies actually in the field
Deputies
doing immigration operations?
and they never were.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking
No,
your opinion
they
on that.
absolutely never were. There should never be a local law enforcement officer doing immigration enforcement because and I've repeatedly said this, this is the ultimate reason why we can't. The people come from other countries, come from corrupt law enforcement. So when they come here, we know that we have to build relationships with that community because we have to keep them safe. Whether they're here visiting, here illegally, or in this country legally, our job is to keep people safe. If they are afraid of law enforcement, they are going to be victimized. So this is what I cannot have. I cannot have a 12-year-old little girl being repeatedly raped because she's being threatened with deportation or the deportation of her family by the suspect. I have to have that little girl very, very confident that when she sees someone in a uniform, she can run to them for help, and we are going to help her. That's how it was before this state made sanctuary state. That's how law enforcement worked, and that's how we have to. That's what we have to get back to. The Democrat mission of sanctuary state did it on purpose to victimize our communities.
No, it did it to bring awareness to these communities and to try to lay down some legal justification or some sort of, framework, I guess, to prevent these organizations from coming into the communities. But I mean, I guess it didn't even work anyways. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe it was just for optics, but at least it was for optics working in your favor because you are a local policeman, not a federal, ICE agent that's doing someone else's that has this other mission other than keeping Californians safe, right? Like whatever.
Okay, I would love to keep talking to you about this, but we are running short on time. I just have one more policy question and then our fun ender. There's been, since Roe v. Wade was overturned, a lot of sort of tension between states. And Louisiana has sent an extradition request to California for a doctor to face charges for allegedly sending a woman abortion pills there. As governor, how would you handle this case? Would you extradite the
He's like, I
doctor?
never, this is his first time worrying about this.
100%. If you're going to break the law, you're going to suffer a consequence. I'm so over this love affair with criminals.
What
I'm
about
so
our shield laws
over.
here, though?
Bro, Chad
wasn't-
Bianco literally ran an ad saying, I love criminals. Hold on.
Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco is making a run for...
Wait, hold on. We can find this.
I will return California to the California that you know and love. But public safety has to be number one. We will make crime a crime again. As your governor, I will do the exact same thing that I did for Riverside County, and I will make sure that we never...
Okay, wait. Hold on. I think he was in support. Oh, Trump. Yes, put a felon in the White House.
No, for the past 30 years, I've been doing everything I could to keep our community safe by arresting criminals and putting them in jail and putting them in prison. And I'm wondering if I'm having a change of heart and deciding that, you know what, maybe I've been wrong. I think it's time we put a felon in the White House.
That's it?
Trump 2024, baby.
Oh my God. Okay. And then let's...
It wasn't here that he 100%.
Charges for allegedly sending a woman abortion pills there. As governor, how would you handle this case? Would you extradite the doctor?
100%.
Okay.
100%. If you're going to break the law, you're going to suffer a consequence. I'm so over this love affair with criminals.
I am so over this love affair with criminals.
Wrong. I think it's time we put a felon in the White House.
And 1 year ago, he said, I think it's time to put a felon, the worst type of criminal, I guess, right? A federal criminal who's broken federal laws. It's time to put a felon in the White House? Bro, you did have a love affair with a criminal. And now all of a sudden you're like, nah, we need to make criminals criminals again. What, because Trump didn't give you his endorsement? He gave it to little British Steve Hilton? Damn. What's this change of heart, brother? What's this change of...
What
I'm
about our
so
shield
over-
laws here, though?
It wasn't
The doctor?
100%.
Okay.
100%. If you're going to break the law, you're going to suffer a consequence. I'm so
There you
over
go.
this love affair with criminals.
What
I'm
about
so
our shield
over,
laws here, though?
Wow. There you go.
It wasn't here that he broke the law. He should have done it in California, not in another state. You can't break. Is California going to not prosecute someone that brings a gun from Arizona into California? This is such
I don't know. You
this
tell
is
me,
such
bro.
a silly, hypocritical argument. And these are the arguments from the Democrat side that never hold water if we would have a debate about it. Because it is absolutely ridiculous to believe that we're not going to enforce the law. He broke the law. He's going to suffer consequences, and he has to suffer consequences, because where do we draw the law? Oh, it's a murder. We would say that that's okay in California, but it's not okay apparently in Arizona. So we're just going to let you be safe here. That's such a stupid argument. If you're going to break the law, you're going to be held responsible. California legislature and the progressive left has an absolute unhealthy love affair with criminals. No one is held responsible anymore. No one. There is nothing to stop someone from being a criminal in California, because you get rewarded for being a criminal in California, it has to end. Californians are absolutely...
God, you get rewarded for being a felon in America. God damn. What is this logic?
sick of this.
All right, before we let you go, I have a fun question for the end.
Sure.
If you have someone coming into California who's never been here before, where would you take them to give them a taste of California? Not necessarily food, but it could be food. But where would you show them?
I would show them the Santa Monica Pier after I cleaned the homeless off it.
Oh my God.
Back to your 11-year-old
Absolutely.
moment.
If
Not
you,
even
if
take
you
them
could
to
take
Riverside
them anywhere
County.
in California, because California is the most beautiful state in the country. We have the best beaches. We have the best deserts. We have the best mountains. We have the best farming ag community.
Yes, we do have the best.
We have everything. We're the only state that has everything. You could take someone anywhere, and the beauty that you see is going to be like no other place in the entire country. It's the politics that are
Okay. Welcome in, DVA. Oh no, not Bianco. Also, hi everyone. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Yeah, Chad Bianco is crazy. Oh man. Well, that was a good interview. Thank you, KQED. Let me copy and paste this to my notes. Dang. KQED is really good. All right, let's just play some little background music. There we go. While I figure out this homework stuff. I need to Google some stuff. Have to write this paper. Oh, that's a little too loud. You have to write this paper for. Get rid of Chad Bianco. I basically have to make my own primary, a presidential primary for the Democrats, and I'm not entirely sure how to go about it. So I was thinking, let's look at some other things and some of the reading sources that my professor gave me. find the links on Canvas real quick. Maybe I'll just use my phone. Second article is good. It is from 538. Democrats are sick of Iowa, also from 538. Thank goodness. Okay. Yeah, he sure is cooking up a beat. I figured I like this low poly, whatever this is, from Jungle Wizard. But it's nice, like chill music, but like still, has good energy. All right. Let's read this 538 article first. Let me turn off the music, or at least turn it way down. Now, I think reading is better with no music. Okay. All right. So this is from 538, written March 7th, 2019. We reordered the entire Democratic Party primary calendar to better represent the party's voters, by Joffrey Skelly. Um, Let me zoom in on these tiny letters. Okay, now we can see the pictures a little bit better too. Looks like a New Hampshire voter participates in the first presidential primary of 2016. Okay, so it's an old picture, but still nice. Okay. A few things stay the same for one presidential primary season to another, but one remains constant. Iowa holds its caucus first, and New Hampshire follows with its first in the nation primary. Yes, Iowa and New Hampshire always go first. But kicking off the primary season with these two states might not make sense for Democrats. These are two of the whitest states in the country. Oh, I think we remember reading that in our textbook readings, which makes their populations a poor reflection of an increasingly diverse Democratic Party. But for the sake of argument, let's say Democrats could order the primary calendar any way they wanted. How should they do it? One way would be to order primaries. Okay. By how similar the state's Democratic electorate is to the party's nationwide voter base. The early states play a key role in winnowing, although I swear that's such a weird word. But it's like it almost sounds like whittling almost. Um, Winnowing the candidate field and state electorate that looks more like the party as a whole may vote in a way that better reflects the opinions of Democrats across the country. Just, oh, I read it wrong. Oh. To sort states by how much they resemble the larger party, I look at the race, ethnicity, and education level of Democratic voters in each state using the Cooperative Congressional Election Study, a survey that more than 50,000 people conducted by YouGov in conjunction with Harvard University. The CCES ask the Cooperative Congressional Election Study ask respondents who they voted for in the general election, so to estimate a state's potential Democratic electorate. Sorry. Um, I include anyone who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, plus anyone else who identified as a Democrat. From there, I broke the Democratic electorate into 5 groups: white voters with no college degree, white voters with a college degree, African American voters, Hispanic voters, and quote unquote everyone else. That's crazy. I broke the white voters into 2 groups because education is particularly meaningful distinction among white Democrats and white voters overall. I look I then looked at how different each state's demographic makeup was from that of the National Democratic Party electorate. This allowed me to sort states by which one best reflected the party. And as you can see in the table below, Illinois is a state whose population comes closest to being a cross section of Democratic voters. So, under this hypothetical where Democrats prioritize states that best reflect their party, Illinois would go first in the nominating process, and Iowa and New Hampshire would move towards the back of the line. Now, if this calendar followed a current setup where 4 carve out, quote unquote, carve out states vote by themselves at the start of the primary process, the 3 states after Illinois would be New Jersey, New York, and Florida. Just after the first 4 would be Nevada, which currently goes third, reflecting the fact that there has been some effort to increase diversity at the start of the real presidential primary calendar. Oh yes, Pokemon Go to the poll. That's how I'm gonna do my primary. I'm just gonna set up a Pokemon what is it called? Pokemon Go gym, because I don't think Pokemon Go gyms are real gyms. I'm sorry. I'm being a regular Pokemon elitist. But I'd set up a Pokemon Go gym at the poll, like inside the poll. So that way you really would have to Pokemon Go to the polls. Um But let's open this link to whatever carve out calendar. Wait. 4 carve out states vote by themselves. Ah, I see. So the Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and then South Carolina. Interesting. All right, back to the article. This would be a pretty big shakeup to the primary calendar, as the top 4 states in this ranking do not have a tradition of voting early in the nomination process. Although Florida has some success at moving up in the line, heck, New Jersey has usually voted towards the end of the process in June. States by a primary calendar that better reflects the Democratic Party, states by how similar their 2016 Democratic electorate is to the U.S. Democratic electorate in terms of voters' race, ethnicity, and education, where lower scores mean more similar. Okay. Oh, I see. I see. So Illinois really do be the most representative of the United States. Interesting. It's let's see. How is it more diverse? Um okay, so Illinois has more white people than compared to the rest of the nation. They have more percentage, 2 percentage points more black people. They have the same amount of Hispanic, but then they have more of whatever everyone else is than compared to the United States. So, oh, wait. Oh, I missed the whole white. I'm so stupid. The 4 categories are white with no degree, white with degree, black, Hispanic, and everyone else. Wait, that's 5 categories. I'm sorry. Bishon in a Box said Gotta get the Pokemon card bros out to vote somehow. Yeah, instead of passing out the little stickers, just give us special Halloween Pokemon card. But instead of Halloween, it's Pokemon voting, which should be good because come on, Japan is a democracy too. And they could do some cute little Pikachu dropping its ballot into the box. That would be so cute. All right, so this is very useful as far as the diversity chart here. Thank you, Bashon in a box. It was all your idea. Pokemon go to the polls, get a exclusive Pokemon card. Like shoot, even to entice conservatives, right? A special Trump Pokemon card. You know, Pikachu dressed up as Trump Pokemon card. That would be, throw the American bird. Oh yeah, isn't the Pokemon that looks like Trump? Is that what it's called? Yamper? No, Yamper's that's a ghost type Pokemon, isn't it? Hold on. I'm thinking of something else. Oh no, no, it is the doggy. It's Oh yeah, this is not the Trump doggy, but it's a cute doggy. What is that Trump Pokemon? It's like a ferret. I'm just gonna type in Trump. It'll come. Oh, Trump card. Well, yeah, Trump Pokemon. There we go. What is it called? Pokemon. What is the Pokemon's name? We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll get it. Oh my god, Deviate said Jinx. It's called Gumshoes? This Pokemon is called Gumshoes. No. Someone made a notch in the ear. Why? No, I mean, I guess it has a notch in the ear, so it can't be Trump anymore because, oh my god. People are ridiculous. Excuse me. Oh my god, there's see look at this Trump GX card. Hold on. Oh no. No, no, no. We can't. Let's open image in new tab. Thank you. There you go. Look at Trump holo card. Wait, but shown in a box set and Pokemon Sun and Moon came out in 2016. Is that when Gumshoes is from? It came out in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Look at Trump's Pokemon card. Ah, thank you. Art of the deal. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 90 damage times the number of heads. His second attack is Bigly Blast. Your opponent reveals their hand. This attack does 120 damage for each energy card you find there. You can't use more than one GX attack in game. That's crazy. Gumshoe sounds like an insult. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But that's the Pokemon he is. Oh, and I guess wait, is this the first form of it? It's called Young Goose. Oh wait, is it not? It's pronounced gumshoes. It's supposed to be goose shoes because it's like a mongoose. Oh, but shown in a box set. I mean, all the Trump NFT cards he made. It makes sense. Yeah. Wow. What a what a picture. Oh my god, this is hilarious. Okay, okay, okay. Back to work. What was the Democrat 2024 primary schedule? Wait, but the question is, what was the primary schedule for your selected party in 2024? And I don't think Democrats had a primary because it was just Harris. Okay, so I guess he did have people run against him in 2024. Interesting. Oh, 2020, not the 2024. Harris had only like 100 days to campaign. Yeah. I'm trying to think like between the time that Joe Biden was still considered the candidate, um, and then and then after that debate, like it couldn't have been that long that he was running. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember a primary for Dems. Yeah, so I'm just gonna look at the 2020 primary for example. uh, Man, look at how much Bernie Sanders won. And Michael Bloomberg only won fucking America Samoa or whatever. uh, Presidential. Here we go. I think. Okay. So let's see. February. Yes, we are in the wrong timeline. Okay, so Iowa caucus, then New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. That's how it was in 2020. Interesting. A lot of states didn't, well, maybe because it was already decided by then. Um, let's see, by March. By 2020, who was the when did Joe Biden become the clear candidate? Okay, let's see. Or let me go back to this. So South Carolina was one of the first ones. Is it because is does South Carolina want to go first because they're like New Hampshire and Iowa? They're like not very racially diverse. Let's see, Southern Carolina, South Carolina. Where is it? North Carolina, South Dakota, South Carolina. Oh crap! It is one of the most not representative states in the country. Let's see. They have only 24% of the population is educated. White with no degree. 13% white with degree. And then 58% black. Okay, so majority of South Carolina is black. Maybe that's why they want to go first. in the primary to be more representative of the black vote. You know what? Let me take this data and put it into an Excel sheet. Let's see if we can do that, and then we can reorganize it by, copy the charts and stuff. Google Sheets. There we go. Thank you. Nope. Okay, please. Yes. Success. It did it so well. Okay. All right. Now I need to turn this into a table, which I forget how to do. All right. Sorry, chat. You are watching live Excel spreadsheet making. Okay. Let's see. White with. Okay, we need to move this over. There we go. Well, I guess all of these too. There we go. Okay, now they are in the correct category. Okay. So when I don't know how to do something in Excel, I just literally Google it. How to make a table in Google Sheets. Highlight your data range, format menu, convert to table. So easy, huh? Okay. Convert to table. Amazing. Okay, so now what should happen is I can reorganize, or I can organize this to see. Okay, yes. Sort column A to Z. No, not. Oh crap. Let me go back, and then I want to keep US. Like, can I keep this to not move at all? Um. Hmm. Well, maybe not. I might have to custom sort. Yes, that's what I want to do, is to be able to sort by these different racial categories. So, like, what do you think is the most highly percentage Hispanic state? Um, Sort column. Easy. Whoa. North Dakota, South Dakota, West Virginia have nothing. Okay, so then it needs to be Z-Day. There we go. Okay. New Mexico has the highest Hispanic at 29.8%. Then Texas. Then California comes in third. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. Let's sort everyone else. See. Okay, so I guess everyone else contains like a lot of indigenous people, because Hawaii is the first one. That's 64%. Everyone else, they mostly have whites with no degree, 22%. Whites with degrees, 10% in Hawaii. Black, 2.3. Only 1.3% Hispanic in Hawaii. And then there are 0% Hispanics in Alaska. That's crazy. I wonder why. Okay. Um, let's see. Let's see where all the smartest white people are. My guess is New York? No, Alaska. What? Yeah. So, the whites that are there. Oh, how much you want to bet that there's like a bunch of like nerdy researchers and stuff? Crazy. Okay, so Let's go back to this. So in 2020, the first 4 states were Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. For the sake of this project, I'm just going to let Iowa and New Hampshire go first still because you know what? They're going to make a big stink about it. But they do the first. New Hampshire literally has it in their law that they have to be the first primary no matter what. So I'm not going to even touch that with a 10-foot pole. You know what I mean? And then Iowa has to have their little caucus. Um, okay, you got to be the first one to do the caucus. Okay, that's fine. Um, but it would be good to have okay, so Iowa did theirs February 3rd, then New Hampshire did their primary February 11th. Thank God they have a calendar on here. So it was almost a week later. I would just almost you know what I would do? I would probably have all the caucuses go first, or maybe not all the caucuses, but the states that do have caucuses. Um, primary. Damn, there's a lot of. I guess it's not all states because there's Puerto Rico, um, and Guam, Virgin Islands, all of these states that aren't states, or I should say election March territories. Thank you, that have representation, some sort of representation. See, so basically, the first 4 states have the entire month of February, and then on March 3rd, they just March. It's like everyone else happens, and then by April, it's done. There's the weird states go in April. You got Alaska, Hawaii, Louisiana, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. Did they? I think they moved the primaries. Okay. Huh. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Deviate the weird states. They go last. The states that damn, I'm being mean because I said Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi. No, no, Alaska, Hawaii, Louisiana, Wyoming. Oh man. So, but in this thing, this is only this. Oh, the 51 states. Oh, Illinois. Why is there 51? Oh, no, but the US is not numbered. Oh, DC. That's why DC. Okay. So do we not have to care about America, Samoa, and Guam? Hmm. All right. As it has been the case since 1972, Iowa will hold the first presidential nominating contest in 2020. Its caucus will be held February 3rd. Maybe I think that's why a lot of these are crossed out because they were going to have the primaries. But this is 2020 and this is right as COVID was hitting, and I think that's why all these states had to push their primaries to later dates. But yeah, seems like most of the decisions happened. Uh, yeah, most of the decisions happened early on. March, April, May, and then these other states don't care. I don't understand what the point of pushing them so far out. But okay. Maybe we should. I don't know if we can, but maybe we could also look at the 2016 presidential election primary calendar. Here we go. From Politico. Okay, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. Can we just look at the Democrats? Okay, so yeah, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada. And then that was in February, early February. Then by March, this must be like Super Tuesday because all these states go on March 1st. Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Georgia, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, Virginia. And then March 5th, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, and then Illinois goes March. I think maybe what we should do first is figure out what the most important states are. And figure out strategically what states we want to go first and what states we want to go last, right? Because that's how I would imagine in a primary, the most important times are the beginning and then towards the end. I'm imagining. I'm just pulling stuff right out of my butt. No. You know what? Ass is an okay word, right? ASS is an acceptable word. That's a family friendly word. Okay, I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass, okay? Okay. Let's see. Let's do a column. Angelina preference. Okay, so we already decided New Hampshire, and we don't wanna mess with the flow, right? So um we'll let New Hampshire and Iowa go first. Iowa can do their caucus, and New Hamp Shire, right? New Hampshire, and they are primary. I spelled caucus wrong. Caucus. Okay. Let me capitalize that. Okay. So Iowa and New Hampshire can go first. I'm okay with that. It seems like what was it? Having South Carolina, because what, they had such a big black population. I'm not opposed to that after having these heavy white population states go first. Because as you know, in America, there's really only two races. Uh, you're the four categories, the four races in America: white with money, white without money, black, Hispanic, and then everyone else. Okay. So Nevada, I do kind of like the idea of having Nevada go first because that seems to be the biggest Hispanic population. But it's New Mexico and Texas. But Texas also has a big black population. I think, I don't know. I feel like maybe okay, a strategy, right? Not only do we want to separate the states from from going first and last, right? We want to prioritize the first and the last states, and we want to prioritize. I want to prioritize states that are more democratic to go last, if that makes sense, right? Like Texas is a red state, but obviously there's more blue there. But like if there's a choice between Texas going first or California going first, I would rather have Texas go first and then California make the final decision, if that makes sense. That's my strategy here with redesigning the primary. Does this make sense? Is this a good strat? This is don't make me break out Persona 4 and start doing the all the different oh my god, maxing out their different skill sets with the Jesus Christ. It gets so nerdy with this. All right, so we'll be okay with let's put South Carolina on the side. Yes, Persona in a Box Persona 4 reference was for you. One day I will play video games on stream. And what does South Carolina have? They have a primary. Yes. Oh no. Undo, undo. Okay. Um, let's put Texas first. And what did they have? They have primary, I believe. 2016. Okay. Yes, they had primary. All right. So we got two heavy white states, Iowa and New Hampshire, followed by two well represented diverse states, but maybe aren't extremely blue, right? The like as a whole, they could be red, especially South Carolina and Texas. Um, those are like the big states. I know for sure I want to put California like last. Because again, I want Californians to have the final decision, and we have a primary. Can you imagine California having a caucus? Hell no. Hell no. Okay. Hmm. Oh, Florida is a good state. Okay. So let's see. We got South Carolina on there, and I don't want to remove Nevada, so let's put Nevada. Nevada, and that is a primary. Um, so is South Carolina. So Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. I'm good with that. Oh yeah, Colorado is also a good state. Maybe we'll put Colorado at the end with California. But wait, let's see where Colorado falls on the. Let's see. Colorado is nearly or 39% white no degree, 35% white with degree. Okay. Colorado is heavily more on the white side. Um Here, let's sort it. Let's sort it. I want to see white with no degree, and then can I also sort it by this column too? No, it's going to switch. Alaska. Okay, let's see. White with no degree, that is traditionally more the conservative side, right? Those are the people that vote conservative. Oh, and apparently that's the most makeup of the United States. C2A. Oh, okay. Well, Iowa, that solves it. Iowa's going first. The white with no degree. Maine, West Virginia. Kentucky is pretty high, but Kentucky is also pretty high with blacks. Um, hmm. Vermont. Yeah, Vermont is really white as well. Nebraska, really white, but oh no, they do not have more. Vermont has more Hispanic people than Nebraska. That's crazy. But Nebraska, Nebraska, I think would have, um, indigenous people, so that's why there's 6.3 everyone else. Okay, we got to make sure that everyone else category is represented too. So I want, to apply that same logic of going first and going last to this category too. Let's see. So Hawaii, but they white with no degree. Hawaii is the most, then Alaska. Oh, but California is third on everyone else. Okay. How about Oregon? We could throw Oregon up there. No. White with no degree, white with degree. Oregon is very white. Delaware, really white. DC. Maybe DC we can throw in there. I feel like having DC be early on would make them feel special. Let's put them. Okay. D period C. And what do they have? What does Washington, D.C. have? Do they have a primary or a caucus? Oh, district. Okay. They have a. Oh, that's Republican. District of Columbia. Oh, okay. Thank God the Democrats have a primary there. Okay. Okay. All right. And I definitely want the I feel like caucuses are better for early on, maybe, because it whittles out the candidates. What other states do caucuses? Illinois, I believe, has primary. Let's see. So, oh wait, Nevada has a caucus? Well, I didn't put Nevada on here, right? Yes, I did. Why did I write primary? Did it change from caucus to primary? Maybe I read that Nevada has a Republican caucus. Yes, that's why I wrote caucus. They have a Republican presidential caucus. Okay. But no, it says caucus. Oh my God. Whatever. Whatever. I'm leaving it as primary. I think it should be primary. Okay. So we got Nevada, Iowa, New Hampshire, DC, South Carolina, Texas, Nevada. Um, Illinois, we were just talking about it. Only 8% Hispanic. But yeah, it's on the southwest side of Chicago, all the Hispanic. Um, but it is very representational of black people. Let's put it like Illinois, and they have a primary. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Washington State, a lot of white people. Okay, wait, we were looking at the everyone else. Maryland, I think Maryland is a good idea to go after Nevada. Arizona, Texas. Maryland had a primary. All right. Okay. What are some other big states that we should be concerned about? Oh, Arizona. Texas I got going first. Arizona. Um well, maybe we could get like Hawaii, Alaska, California, Oklahoma. Delaware is 37%, but it is good. So it's like almost 30% black. Let's see today. Oh, Mississippi. And we need to put Mississippi up there. All right, Deviate. See you later. Have a good one. Mississippi. Mississippi. We all know how to spell Mississippi. They have a primary. Okay. That's right. I didn't need to look up these caucuses. North Dakota has a caucus. And Wyoming has a caucus. Okay. Well, if they insist and have historically had caucuses, I don't want to stop them. Okay, let's see. Wyoming. What was the other state I said? Oh yeah. North Dakota. Arkansas, white with no degree. Everyone else. Need to start crossing off the list because I'm getting confused now. Okay, let's see. We did Illinois. Or let's just, yeah, let's do the whole thing. There we go, strike through. Okay, we got Illinois, we got North Dakota. Let's organize it by name. Okay, we put California in last. And we got Colorado. Oh, Florida's a good one. They are Florida is 40% white with no degree, 18% white with degree. That's crazy. But then 24% black, 13% Hispanic. I forgot about Florida. Should Florida go before Illinois or after Illinois? I feel like Illinois is the good middle one. Okay, we'll put Florida. Florida. And what did Florida have in 2020? They had a primary. Okay. So that I could strike that out. Whoops. Strike. South Carolina. Well, we got Mississippi. Strike. Let's see. South Carolina. Did we do South Dakota already? No. Maryland. Oh, Indiana is a good one that we should probably do too. And Ohio. No, I did not do Ohio yet. What do you think? Indiana and Ohio should go before Illinois or towards the end? Or should Illinois just go at the end? Okay, we'll put Illinois more towards the end and then like keep Ohio and keep Ohio and Ohio and Oklahoma. Wait, let me put Oklahoma on here earlier on because I think that's a good choice. Okay. Okay. Let me cross those off. Oh, I forgot about Massachusetts. They can go last. They're a heavy blue state. Let's see. We got Nevada. Strike that out. Do New Hampshire. I'm treating Oklahoma as the representation for the Native Americans. Colorado. Oh, yeah. We'll put Massachusetts. I don't know how to spell Massachusetts. Massacchu. Setts. What a name. Okay. All right. Let's Massachusetts. Mark you off. Yeah, they're a big white with degree and without degree, anyways. So they can go last. I'm okay with letting. I'm okay with letting white people with or without a degree pick last after the race of their ethnicities. Yeah, Iowa's going first because they are babies and have to have special treatment. We already did DC. South Carolina, did I get that? Yes. Yeah, South Dakota. Oof. You know what? They can go last too. No, but they have 8.1% everyone else. Washington State. Oh yeah, I was like, nah. West Virginia. Oof. I'll put it up there with Vermont. Hey, okay, and then we'll throw a regular Virginia on there too. Utah. Oh my God, it's 60% white with no degree. That's crazy. Connecticut. Oh, that's white with degree. All right. Mm, Hawaii there for the indigenous representation. Idaho. Idaho, I'm gonna put there with Vermont. No. Arizona can go. Arizona should be one of the middle ones. Oh yeah, New Jersey and New York. They should be together. But let's, you know what? I want these states to go together. Why? And New York. Okay. There. We can cross off New Jersey and New York at the same time. Pennsylvania, that's a good one. Oh, I forgot about Indiana. Oh, we already got Ohio. Oh yeah, we should put Alaska in there somewhere. We could put Alaska next to Hawaii, like honestly. Alabama. Oh, they are mostly black. Alabama, Georgia. Georgia. Strike. Georgia. Done. Maine, Louisiana. Oof, Louisiana has a lot of white. Whoa. Oh, I mean, Maine has a lot of white with no degree. I could put Maine up here. All right, Louisiana. Oh yeah, Pennsylvania. Maybe I put Pennsylvania with Illinois. Okay. That is not how you spell Pennsylvania, but okay. As we're whittling it down, we're getting closer to being finished. Nebraska is a big white population, but also, oh, did I already do Nebraska on here? Iowa. I want to say, yeah. I don't know. Okay. I forgot about Montana. Oh yeah, Rhode Island. We should just put Rhode Island with next to Massachusetts. Hmm. Indiana. Indiana. We'll put it with Illinois and Pennsylvania. This is maybe kind of turning out to more geographical location, which is good because then I can just justify my decisions with that. Oh yeah, I forgot about Wisconsin. 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 Strike. North Dakota. Michigan. I keep forgetting about Michigan, but Michigan should go with Illinois anyways. They're all Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. They're all the same type of people. Maybe not Pennsylvania, but with me talking out of my ass. Missouri has no Hispanic. Strike. Yeah. Louisiana. We should put it with Missouri. Okay. Montana. Put that with Nebraska. Or put it with South Dakota. Okay. Kentucky. Put Kentucky with Nebraska. Utah. All right. Oh, we got. Wait, didn't I do North Dakota already? Yes. Did I do North Carolina already? Did I do any of the Carolinas? Oh, South Carolina. You know what? If South Carolina has to be special, we're going to let North Carolina be special with them. There we go. All right. North Carolina, where are you? Tennessee. I'll let it be with Louisiana. Okay, Oregon. You can go last with Washington, Massachusetts, Colorado. Yes, it can go in the Pacific Northwest section. Okay. Done with Oregon. Oh, Delaware. Okay, Delaware done. Put it early on. Oh, Minnesota. That can go with Wisconsin. All right, and New Mexico. New Mexico. Let's put, yeah, somewhere early on. New Mexico. And did I get South Dakota? Okay. Think I'm missing one state. Here, let's turn this into a table as well. There we go. Whoops. Okay, there we should be able to. Okay. Oh, we got Arizona, Alabama. We got Alaska. Oh, we're missing Arkansas. Oh no. I messed it up though, because I messed up my preference. Hold on. Okay. Okie dokie. There, now we can turn this into a table. There we go. Okay, so we needed Arkansas. Arkansas. Oh, I'm missing Arkansas and Kansas. Duh. Oh, okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. 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 There we go. All right. Listing ordered. 52 places. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Let's take a little break from this and do something a little bit more engaging for a second, because that was tedious. I could look up 2016 2016 Dem presidential, not debate, primary. Okay, here from TYT. The Northeast decided the 2016 primary, which we're just talking about because we were talking about setting it up by districts.
Phenomenal. So when we're looking at the map of who won which areas of the country, Bernie Sanders did much better in the West. Hillary Clinton obviously did phenomenal in the South. And then there was they split the Midwest in some ways. Bernie Sanders wins Michigan, but Hillary Clinton with a very important victory in Ohio. And so who decided the election? It turns out it was the Northeast. And Hillary Clinton's wins in the Northeast proved decisive. So obviously Bernie Sanders won New England area in terms of New Hampshire and Vermont, but man, she held Massachusetts by 1.2. But that was a big, small win for her, right? It was a small margin, but big in optics, and surprising to me at least, and I know to some others as well, that liberal estate he did not win. And then New York was a death blow to Bernie Sanders. I mean, that is where if he was going to make a comeback, he had to win New York. And he didn't, and he lost it by a fairly wide margin. Now New Jersey gets crushed in it, right? Pennsylvania goes to Hillary Clinton. So it was the Northeast. So I know that the Sanders people have had a beef with the South, right? But you should have almost a bigger beef with the Northeast, because then you could have won the Northeast.
Yeah. Huh.
Something significant. I don't know whether it's lasting. I don't know whether it's coincidence or whether it's desperation, but something significant has happened in the tone of the Democratic race over the last 24 to 36 hours. It started with Martin O'Malley, the former governor of Maryland. He's polling very low, way behind Bernie Sanders, way, way behind Hillary Clinton. But for the first time, he called her out by name, saying Hillary Clinton cannot be president because she is too cozy to Wall Street and won't be tough.
My proposals go a lot further than Secretary Clinton's. Her closeness with big banks on Wall Street is sincere. It's heartfelt, it's long established and well known. I don't have those ties. I am independent of those big banks on Wall Street.
That's Martin O'Malley. Then Lincoln Chafee yesterday, the former governor, the former senator from Rhode Island, a one-time Republican now running as a Democrat. He says a lot of Hillary Clinton's honesty and trustworthy issues are because they're self-inflicted wounds. Then he went on to criticize her vote for the Iraq War.
To get us back into another endless quagmire was just a colossal lapse of judgment. I did my homework. I looked carefully to see if there were weapons of mass destruction and evidence, those WMD. I didn't see it.
And then yesterday, Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail in New Hampshire asked what she would do. Right now, the president for some time has had before him whether to continue construction, complete construction of the Keystone XL pipeline. Hillary Clinton was involved in that as Secretary of State. That was her excuse for saying, I can't answer you now.
This is President Obama's decision, and I am not going to second guess him because I was in a position to set this in motion, and I do not think that would be the right thing to do. So I want to wait and see what he and Secretary Kerry decide. If it's undecided when I become president, I will answer your question.
And again, first you had O'Malley, then you had Chafee. Bernie Sanders, who often says, let Hillary Clinton do her thing, I'm going to do mine, very quickly issues a statement saying, wait a minute. He says, it's hard for me to understand how one can be concerned about climate change, but not vigorously oppose the Keystone Pipeline, essentially saying, you're running, take a position.
I forgot about the Keystone
he's
Pipeline.
Not wrong about that. This is what presidential elections are for. They're for asking candidates, what would you stand for if you become president? And the argument that I know too much about this and so I can't take a position is a confusing one.
She's not a Supreme Court justice. She doesn't get to recuse herself from the case because she had some involvement with it before she got on the bench. She's running for president. By that measure, she shouldn't weigh in on Iran. She shouldn't have an opinion on the Affordable Care Act because she helped spin those plates back in the 1990s. Right. It's astounding. And these other guys finally starting to pounce. They see vulnerability.
They see vulnerability.
Right.
The
email
Oh
thing,
my God, the
this
email
idea that
thing.
She feels that she shouldn't have to weigh in on
forgot
things,
about the
that's an opening
emails.
for them.
I think,
and I bet you their numbers
I
start
don't think it's
climbing.
coincidence. I think they sense that if there's a moment, this is it.
Absolutely.
Try to pile on and see what happens.
Crazy.
Did phenomenal in the South. And
Close player. Damn, how the 2016 Democratic contest mirrors 2008. It's from Bloomberg. Let's take a look at that.
When you're total amateurs, you just have to call in the pros. So joining us now is Howard Wolfson, senior advisor to our boss, Michael Bloomberg. He's also the former deputy mayor of New York City and the former communications director for Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign. And in Washington, D.C., the great Margaret Talev, Bloomberg's senior White House reporter. Howard, only because you're here, I'm going to start with you here and just ask you this question. What do you make at this moment of where we currently stand in the Democratic race, having some experience with long, bitter nomination fights?
People are tired and people are getting bitter and tensions are beginning to manifest themselves in the day-to-day back and forth. I think at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. She will not need superdelegates to become the nominee. And we all know that in this process it is very difficult for the person in second place to catch up once they fall behind. We have no winner-take-all states on the Democratic side. But the campaign will likely go forward. Bernie Sanders is going to win more states. He's going to collect more money, and I assume he will go all the way to California. And hopefully at some point the two sides begin to ratchet down. In 2008, there was a point at which we had come to some conclusion that we were unlikely to overtake Barack Obama, and both sides began to kind of ratchet things down at that point so that, you know, you could come together at the convention. I assume something like that will happen, but it's clearly not happening yet.
Yeah, no.
Margaret, since the Wisconsin primary results came in and Sanders won big, what are things the Sanders campaign has done well?
I mean, Sanders' campaign has done a couple things well. One is continue to inspire his supporters with the notion that, math aside, a comeback is still possible and he can still overtake her. If Wisconsin could happen, you know, perhaps New York can happen or come close. If that could come close, perhaps California is the place where the magic happens. And it is this promise of something that's sort of beyond the bounds of statistical probability that has very much kept him alive. But what Secretary Clinton is doing much better in New York this week is tailoring a New York specific campaign, and you're just seeing much less of that sort of differentiation and localization on Senator Sanders' part.
I'm not criticizing this, but I'm asking you to unpack it because you're familiar with these things. What good does it do Hillary Clinton's campaign for her press secretary to go on Twitter and kind of engage in attacks and negativity towards the Sanders campaign? What is that? What is purpose?
They had no idea. I mean, I know this is 2016 and Donald Trump was barely coming in, but they had no idea how much more important the internet would become in terms of political discourse. Jeez.
Sir.
I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but
well, just the general. I won't say juvenile, but the kind of caustic, sarcastic back and forth using social media.
Yeah, I guess I would attribute that to a general fraying of the nerves.
But does it serve a purpose?
It serves as an outlet for people's frustrations.
Right.
I'm not sure it necessarily serves an electoral purpose, although it seemed pretty clear to me that one of the messages that the Clinton campaign was trying to drive this week in New York was that she was tough enough to take on Donald Trump, and that she was tough enough to handle tough questions and difficult questions, and so maybe a little bit of punchball on social media may drive that a little bit.
So one of the interesting things about this race on the Democratic side is that it's a mirror image of 2008, in which Hillary Clinton is now Barack Obama, and Barack Obama is now, or Hillary Clinton is Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton was Barack Obama. So here's my question for you, Margaret. I want to do a psychological question about where was Barack Obama's head at this point in 2008, and how did his aides deal with getting him to not be excessively self-destructively annoyed at Hillary Clinton sticking around long after the math made it impossible for her to win?
Hillary Clinton reaped what she sowed.
The primary difference was that he was the underdog, even when he was clearly on a path to glide past her, and she has never been the underdog in this race. There was a point at which she, right up, well, until the end, depending on how you count the states where he didn't compete, where she led in the popular vote, and then was finally surpassed in the delegate vote. She is running ahead in both right now. So it's a different psychological game, but it's true in both cases that the aides and the advisors had to keep reminding these candidates to pace themselves and not to act too presumptive in a way that could catch up to them or embarrass them later.
Right. So, Howard, my question to you,
And they
you dealt
did
with
it
Hillary Clinton a lot in 2008 in these circumstances. You talked a second ago about how there came a point in which you decided as a campaign not to do things to make things worse with the Obama campaign. Talk about her and how you got to the point where she accepted that in that race.
It's tough because when you're winning, as then Senator Clinton was late in the spring, early in the summer,
and as Senator Sanders is now.
Today, the temptation is to think on some level, a psychological question, that this is possible. People are voting for me. I go to
Charlie Sheen School of Politics.
Exactly right.
Winning.
No, and well, and in then Senator Clinton's case, she would go to these rallies where there were enormous numbers of people showing her a great deal of love and affection. And it was hard to sort of square that reaction that she was getting in her bubble with the delegate math, which is brutal and cold and doesn't show a lot of love or hate. It just is what it is. And so at some point, though, and I give her a lot of credit, she's a lifelong Democrat. She understood that in 2008, at some point, the party needed to come together, get a nominee who could win.
The president and the vice president both have talked about Hillary Clinton this week. The vice president yesterday talked about Sanders and Clinton. I'm just wondering how anxious you think they are and the White House operation is to get this nomination fight settled so they can play a role in helping whoever the nominee is.
Yeah, I think they'd certainly like it to be settled. I think they both largely think it is settled. You'd see more agita, more angst otherwise. They both have made a commitment not to jump in at this point, that this is for the party, for voters in the party to decide. But they both slipped quite a few times. President Obama has, to my mind, been almost doing this for a year now. And Vice President Biden almost did it yesterday in this interview that was released with Mike. So. But I think in both cases you're seeing a situation where they don't want to be part of a division, they want to be part of unifying the party, and so they're waiting for this to resolve itself before they can jump in.
You've got a situation where Hillary Clinton, the public polling suggests, is up by maybe a dozen points.
In New York.
In New York. She's had some stumbles this week, but I think it's safe to say that she's had at least as good a week as Sanders since Wisconsin, and probably better. If you're Hillary Clinton's camp, are you worried at all now that somehow, because of his big crowds, the debate, something could lead him to win the primary, or is it done?
I mean, debates can change things, and it is conceivable that he has an amazing debate and she has a terrible debate. She doesn't have a history of having many terrible debates. In fact, she's a really good debater, but he's a good debater too.
But could the polls be wrong? Does big crowds spook you if you're in the Clinton camp?
You have to be concerned, but all of the polling that I've seen, and I gather the campaigns have seen, and that we've all seen, suggests that she will get somewhere in the mid-50s in the state.
Do you think, just on the basis of what you know from 08, where knitting the party back together was a challenge after the 08 race, do you think it's going to be a harder or an easier task this time around? Because I sense among a lot of the Sanders...
The division between Bernie Sanders and, the division between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were that bad that they had to reconnect the Democratic Party. That's crazy.
People, at least as much intensity as you sensed among the Pumas back in 08.
Yeah, it's funny. A month ago, I would have said it would have been easier because that race in 08 was pretty difficult at certain points. Yep. It now feels like it may be just as complicated and that it will take some work on behalf of everybody to knit the thing back together.
Is that exacerbated at all by her surrogates being pretty aggressive with Bernie Sanders and questioning his bona fides on some issues? Does that make it harder?
I mean, look, you do have to continue to draw some contrast. This is going to go on until June, and it's only April. So you can't take your foot off the gas just yet. But at some point, I think you're going to have to kind of ease off the gas a little bit and recognize that, look, Sanders is going to win some states. He's not going to win enough of them by enough of a margin to be the nominee. And the important thing is to have a unified party going into the fall.
Yeah, it seems to me that one of the great complexities here for Hillary Clinton is she's going to be dealing with someone on the other side who is not like what Hillary Clinton was to Barack Obama the last time around, which is to say
a loyal Democrat.
A loyal Democrat.
That's right.
Someone who's been a big challenge for her.
Yeah.
Margaret, if you look at Bernie Sanders and sort of get a read on where he stands, do you think
he was
thinks
nothing
he
but a
still
loyal
can be the
Democrat
nominee,
to her?
or is this now
Jesus.
about accumulating delegates and influence for Philadelphia?
It's certainly about trying to influence the conventions, but sure, if you're a candidate and you're still in the race, you have to believe there's a way you could do it. There are a number of outstanding issues, there are a number of outstanding states, and there is, of course, the FBI investigation that continues to hang over Secretary Clinton and her aides. But I think Bernie Sanders and his aides are smart people, and they can understand the math as well as anyone sitting here talking about it. He's trying to do both, and you see him still competing very aggressively and talking very aggressively now. Certainly this could change by California depending on what happens in New York, what happens in that mid-Atlantic corridor, and what happens as we move west.
Do you get the sense that the president would relish Donald Trump being the Republican nominee, both because he seems to like to talk about him and also because he thinks it would be relatively easy to beat him?
Unless it isn't.
Oh my
God. Sure, the
God.
entire Democratic establishment would relish it unless they were wrong and unless he put her in a corner and he won. Then they'd all blame themselves for not doing it.
Let's run that back real quick.
Do you get the sense that the president would relish Donald Trump being the Republican nominee, both because he seems to like to talk about him and also because he thinks it would be relatively easy to beat him?
That's crazy.
Unless it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, the question was, do you think Obama would be upset if Donald Trump became the Republican nominee? But does it matter because Donald Trump might be easily an easy opponent?
Yeah.
And then the lady was like, unless you can't beat him, which is crazy. She predicted it. Margareto Tlaib. Great. She's amazing.
Sure, the entire Democratic establishment would relish it unless they were wrong and unless he put her in a corner and he won. Then they'd all blame themselves for not
he
doing
sure
more to
did
stop
put her
it.
in a corner and
it's
won.
a risk, and I think everyone on the in the Clinton camp and in the Democratic Party understands that.
If you're running Hillary Clinton's campaign, who do you want to run against as the eventual nominee, Donald Trump or Ted Cruz?
Donald Trump.
You do? Because?
Really? Wow.
Because given his negatives, he's not electable, and he will put...
Oh my God, the man who did Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2008 said Donald Trump would be the preferred candidate to go up against Hillary in 2016 because he's easy. Oh my God, they were so wrong. They were so wrong back then. They were so full of themselves.
States in play that would otherwise not be.
And the fact that he's as unpredictable as he is wouldn't give you pause. Cruz seems to be a largely predictable and conventional candidate.
So there might be some more difficult days emotionally because of Donald Trump's presence in the race, but I cannot imagine circumstances under which somebody with his numbers currently and his style of campaigning.
Best case for Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump, how many states could she win? Best case?
I think best case, Obama 08 map is the floor, not the ceiling.
I understand, but how many states could she win?
I think in addition to the states Obama won in 08, you put Arizona in play, you put Utah in play, you put maybe Georgia in play, and
but fewer than 5 additional states.
Yeah, but
not McGovern.
No, not McGovern. We don't live in that country anymore, so no, not McGovern. But
They're crazy. They were thinking Hillary Clinton was going to win by a lot, and she did not. She lost by a little.
the states that were maybe 51, 52 Obama become 55, become safe, and you can really extend the map out. Plus, you have enormous possibility of taking the Senate back and winning substantial gains in the House.
It'd be up to like 350 electoral votes.
That's crazy. That was crazy how wrong they were. How wrong they were. All right. I think I'm going to end the stream here. It's 6 o'clock. Thankfully, we've had a flawless stream. I don't think there's been any buffering, any frame drops at all. So that was great. So yeah, let's say goodbye here for today, and then we will be back next week. Here we go. Let's play something. No, let's go. Okay, sorry. There we go. That sounds good. All right. Thank you for joining me, everyone. It's been a great Friday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekends. Thank you again for joining me to help out with some homework. Take care, everyone. Have a safe weekend. Peace out. Have a good rest of your night. Take care, everyone.